Getting started with Google Cloud SQL. Hello everybody, this is Ben Finkel, and in this nugget, we're going to take a look at how you can get up and running with Google Cloud SQL. We're going to take a look at some of the admin tools that are available to you so that you can work with Google Cloud SQL in a number of different ways. We'll talk about pricing and quotas, limitations on the product itself, and then we'll take a brief look at the steps involved in getting up and running inside of the Google Cloud platform. So some of the admin tools that are available for the Google Cloud SQL product are going to be the web UI, the command line interface, and the client library APIs. Now notice we're talking right now about admin tools. These are not tools for querying your data, creating tables, that sort of thing. These are tools for creating and managing your Google Cloud SQL instances, the actual databases that you're going to be working with. The first one, the Developers Console, is a web UI product. It's browser-based, it's super easy to use, really just point and click. It's a real clean interface like you're probably used to seeing when you work with any other Google product. And it's feature-rich, although it's not feature-complete. It has most of the available features, most of the things that you can do with your Google Cloud SQL instances are available to be manipulated inside of this browser interface. But as new features are rolled out, they don't always make it into the user interface right away. You can access this user interface at cloud.google.com. You can actually use this interface for your entire Google Cloud platform suite of products. We're just talking about the Google Cloud SQL right now. The second administration tool is more robust, and that's the G Cloud utility. This is the command line interface for working with and managing your G Cloud SQL instances. It's a locally installed piece of software. You have to install the software development kit, the Cloud SDK, in order to gain access to this G Cloud utility. But once you do, you've got a command line option for a feature-complete manipulation administration of all of your Google Cloud instances. You can download that right from cloud.google.com, WAC SDK. They have versions for Mac OS, Windows, and Linux. So you should be able to find a version of the Cloud SDK that's going to run on your interface. Lastly, there are the programmatic APIs, the client libraries. And these allow you to write software programs that spin up and manage your Google Cloud instances for you. The client libraries are available for Python, Java, .NET, PHP, and Objective-C right now. And if you check out the URL on screen here, you can also see that they've got Go and Node.js in the pipeline, beta testing. So there's a lot of options for programmatically manipulating and managing your Google Cloud SQL instances. Now, all three of these tools actually rely on a fourth, I'll call it base level interface, in order to work with Google Cloud SQL. And that's the Google Cloud REST API. The REST API is underneath all of the technologies. They're all simply wrappers invoking these RESTful API calls. And of course, you can invoke those calls yourself directly. You can do so programmatically. They're just simple HTTP calls. It uses JSON, so it's a familiar, comfortable technology. And of course, everything operates on port 443. We have to be secure about what we do. The full details and documentation of using the RESTful API can be found right here. Pricing for the Google Cloud SQL product is not only relatively inexpensive, but it's also fairly straightforward and easy to do. There's just not a lot of options that you need to configure when you're estimating the cost of your database instances. To begin with, you have to choose one of two pricing models for your tier, or the size of your database instance that you want to create. The first one, package pricing, simply pays ahead of time for a full day charge for a given tier. And that includes a flat per day charge for every day that that particular tier or that particular instance is active. It also includes some base level storage and IOPS. Anything above the base included storage and IOPS is going to be charged at the per use pricing rate. So down when you use per use pricing, you're paying per hour billing for your tier. It's a little more expensive unless you're very minimally using your instances. If they're not being used very much and you can turn them off and shut them down, then maybe your per hour billing, your sub day billing, is going to be more cost effective for you. And in that case, you will pay per gigabyte of storage and per million IOPS. Now, on top of the charge for your tier, you're going to have to pay for network use, but you only have to pay for outbound traffic. That's traffic leaving the Google Cloud infrastructure, we'll call it. So that means that traffic between your Google Cloud SQL instance and Google Compute Engine or Google App Engine is not charged. Traffic that moves around inside of the network, inside of the Google Cloud infrastructure, is going to be free for you. It's only when you want to send information, send data out of Google Cloud Platform and download it into some other network, either your private hosted network, another cloud, whatever that might be. And then lastly, there's a small fee, I think it's a penny per hour, for reserved IP addresses. If you need an external IP address on your instance, you got to pay a nominal fee to reserve that IP address. The details of all this pricing can be found right here, by the way, at cloud.google.com, whack SQL, whack pricing. As far as limits and quotas go, Google Cloud SQL doesn't have many. There is a limit to 30 instances per project, although you can create multiple projects per account, and you can even create multiple accounts, so that shouldn't limit you too much. You can get more than 30 instances if you want. You just have to request special permission from Google, special use case, and they can increase the number of instances if you need more than 30, but 30 is a lot. You should be all right there. You're also limited to 250 gigabytes of storage for every instance. Now that can be increased up to 500 gigabytes of storage if you have a silver support account with Google. So premium support account subscribers can get 500 gigabytes of storage per instance. And then lastly, you have unlimited IOPS. Of course, you are charged at the per million IOPS rate for all the IOPS that you need inside of your instance. Every tier also has a limit to the number of concurrent connections, but they're fairly generous and they scale up as you scale up your tiers to quite a large number of concurrent connections. Now, in order to understand how much this is all going to cost you ahead of time, Google has an awesome tool called the pricing calculator. And the pricing calculator allows you to enter in information that you expect about your Google Cloud SQL instances and determine or estimate what the monthly cost should be for that. Let's take a look at that right now. I'm just going to navigate out to that URL I had up a second ago, cloud.google.com, whack products, whack calculator. And you can see here the Google Cloud Platform pricing calculator is actually available for the entire cloud platform. All of the products across the platform can be selected, and you can estimate the cost for any of those products that you want to use. You can actually build up an estimate for all these products if you can use them all. We're interested right now in Google Cloud SQL. That's the little icon here with the SQL in it. And you can see there's not very many options. I simply choose if I'm using part-time or full-time. Choose my instance size. Let's choose D2, a mid-range instance. Now let's say I'm going to use 150 gigabytes of storage. I'll have heavy IOPS, and I expect it to be running 7 days a week. Click Add to Estimate, and you can see right up here it tells me that I've got $136 monthly total estimate based on 30.1 total days per month, 150 gigabytes of storage, and heavy I/O. So I can email out these estimates, I can save them, use them later. It's a really nice, handy tool for allowing us to determine ahead of time what the cost might be for our products. If you're ready to get started with the Google Cloud Platform, it's easy to do. All you got to do first is sign up for a Google account. You do that at accounts.google.com. You may already have one. If you have a Gmail address, that's a Google account. If your company domain is hosted by Google Apps, that's a Google account. You can go ahead and use that account right away. You don't have to create a new one. Once you've done that, you go to cloud.google.com, log into the Google Cloud Platform Developer User Interface, and you need to create a new Google Cloud project. You have to have a project to do anything in the Google Cloud Platform. It's kind of the top-level organizational unit for GCP. Lastly, you need to make sure that you enable billing on that project. To enable billing, yes, you're going to have to key in some credit card information. For Google Cloud SQL, even the basic level of usage is going to accrue some charges, so you do have to have billing enabled and a credit card attached. However, you don't have to worry about accruing any charges right away. Go to cloud.google.com, whack starter credit, and use the promo code GCP-Nuggets. That'll get you $500 in starter credits that you can use for 90 days. As long as you have these credits applied to your account, any charges that you would accrue will dial down against this $500 instead of coming down against your credit card that you have enabled with your billing account. You can also use a free trial if you have a new Google account to get $300 for up to 60 days. This has a few limitations associated with some things like only a single GCE instance, but otherwise you're looking at $800 in free credits that you can use to get started with the Google Cloud before you even have to pay a cent. That concludes this nugget on getting started with Google Cloud SQL. We took a brief overview of the administration tools that are available for Google Cloud SQL, the command line interface, the user interface, and the programmatic API, as well as the REST API that's available. We talked about the pricing and quotas and how to estimate pricing for your Google Cloud SQL instances, and we talked about the steps that are involved in getting a Google Cloud Platform account up and running. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.